My master's is MAR, Intercultural Studies and World Missions. Kung meron man akong verse na talagang would push me through with my calling, this is one. This is the one. Matthew 28:18 to 20. Okay? And ang pinaka ating key verb, okay? Pag sinabing verb, anong ibig sabihin ng verb? Action word, right? Oftentimes, we would say ng pinaka-action word dito ay go, right? Kaya tayo, I will go. Pero, ang pinaka-main verb dito sa verse na ito ay walang iba, to make disciples of all nations. So, ang goal natin is, ano nga ulit? To make disciples. Discipling, right? To make disciples. So, as we are disciples of Jesus, we are to make disciples of all nations. And then, saka na yung baptizing, and then teaching them to absorb all things. And then, nandun yung promise ng Panginoon that He will be with us wherever we go, even to the end of age. Okay. So, remember that. The most important verb there is make disciples. And then, so on, baptizing and teaching. Now, with our activity, I need you guys to look into the Bible and identify words in each text that describe what Jesus did to reach people with the good news of the gospel. Okay? So, nakita naman natin yung buhay ni Jesus. He really, disciple people. Now, let's know His strategies. Okay? Matthew 4:23. Open it, Matthew 4:23. So, let's try from each unit kung sinong pwedeng mag-represent and magsabi kung ano yung strategy ni Jesus in reaching someone or reaching someone. Matthew 4:23. Okay? Let's try with this one.
And Jesus went about in all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing all manner of disease and all manner of sickness among the people.
Okay, so one word, one strategy is? Teaching. Ano pa? Preaching. Very good. And healing. Okay? So write it down. Teaching, preaching, and healing. Okay? So mga nagma-master guide ay someday you would also teach, you would also preach, and you would heal. So teaching, preaching, and healing. Next natin, Luke 9 verse 13. Luke 9 verse 13. Okay. Sino nandun na? Luke 9 verse 13. Mukhang kailangan natin mag-exercise ng books of the Bible.
Luke 9 verse 13. But he said to them, you give them something to eat. And they said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all these people.
Okay, so what is Jesus' strategy there in reaching the people? Giving, right? Giving or providing. So particularly giving, okay? So pag nagde-disciple tayo, kasama din yun. Preaching, teaching, healing, even giving. Next, Matthew 9:32 to 33. Matthew 9:32 to 33. Matthew 9:32 to 33.
As they were going away, behold, a demon oppressed man who was mute brought to him. And when the demon had been cast out, the mute man spoke. And the crowds marveled, saying, never was anything like this seen in Israel. But the Pharisees said, he cast out demons by the prince of demons.
Okay, so ano yung next na strategy ni Jesus? Casting? Okay, casting out demons. Very good. Wow, so naisa-isa na natin, no? And last one, Luke 6:13. Luke 6:13. Luke 6:13. Luke 6:13. Okay, are you there?
6:13, sabi dito, kinaumagahan, tinawag niya ang kanyang mga alagad at siya'y pumili mula sa kanila ng 12 at itinalaga sa mga apostol.
Okay, Luke 6:13. Ano pa? Ano yung strategy pa ni Jesus dyan?
Discipleship.
Okay, discipleship, choosing the next disciples. It's more on, anong tawag natin dito? Multiplying yourself, ano? Duplication of yourself. Delegation. Yan. So, yun yung mga terms natin. Delegation, multiplying yourself, ano? So, ibig sabihin, discipling din yon. Nag-preach ka, nag-teach ka, nag-heal, nag-cast out ng demon, nag-give, and then you make disciples. Paramihan, ano? Multiplication. Okay? So, those are Jesus strategies. Ang galing, ano? So, ang goal natin ay to follow Jesus, right? Kung tayo ay disipulo ni Jesus, we want to follow Jesus. Okay, now I have some questions for the group. Pero, wala tayong PowerPoint, ano? So, let's just try this na anyone who knows the answer, just raise your hand, okay? So, the question is, what does the word disciple mean? Give me synonyms. Okay, synonyms ng disciple.
Servant.
Servant. What? Ano pa?
Follower.
Follower. Very good. Ano pa? Disciples. Alagad. Yes. Ano yan? Doer.
Teacher.
Teacher. Sige. Ano pa?
Brotherhood.
Leader.
Christ-like.
Brotherhood. Christ-like. Ano pa?
Preacher.
Preacher. Soldier. Okay. Some of the nearest is follower and servant. Yan.
Steward.
Steward also. Okay. And so we have those things in mind kapag narinig natin yung disciples. That's good. Okay? So at least you are having idea what it means to be a disciple. Ano? Next natin. Now, which of the synonyms apply to Christ's disciples? Ano sa tingin nyo doon sa mga binanggit ninyo ay nag-a-apply sa Christ's disciples?
Follower.
Servant, yeah. Or servant leader, follower. Steward also. Okay? Good. Next natin, which of the synonyms apply to the Pathfinders or Master Guide trainees?
Follower. Follower.
Follower. Okay. Servant din, no? So, pare-pareho, right? So we want to stick to that. When I was young, nung tinuturuan kami, ano ibig sabihin ng Pathfinder? Tagahanap ng daan. Diba? Tagahanap ng daan patungo kay Jesus. But we would always be reminded that we must be servant leaders and followers of Jesus. Okay ba yun? So clear sa atin yun, ano? Yung goal natin, bakit tayo nagiging master guide, ano? Next natin, how would Jesus define discipling? Kung kayo si Jesus, paano kaya i-describe ni Jesus ang discipling? Self-denial. I would love that. Ano yan? Networking.
Taking up his cross.
Okay. Deny yourself, taking up his cross. Very good. Yeah, and follow me. That's it. Humbling yourselves. Very good. Okay. See? Ang pagdating kay Jesus, it takes more of your everything. Sacrifice, ano? Self-denial. Alam niyo, ang pinakamahirap na battle in life? Yung sarili. Yung battle of self, ano? Marami tayong pinagdadaanan, marami tayong struggle, but particularly dahil sa ating mga sarili, sa karakter natin, sa attitude natin, sa ating mga perceptions at pag-iisip, at even paniniwala, ano? But Jesus, would define it as self-denial. Self-denial. The greatest or the hardest sermon to preach. Alam niyo kung ano? Self-denial. Okay? Next natin, how many people did Christ disciple? Ano sa tingin niyo? Luke 6:13. Ano, nabasa na natin yung kanina, no? Ilan ang dinidisciple ni Jesus? Luke 6:13?
12.
Okay, numbers? 12. Very good. How about 10 verse 1? Luke 10 verse 1. Luke 10 verse 1. Ilan? Number ilan? 10 verse 1?
72.
72?
10 verse 70.
70.
70.
Okay, 70. Very good. And then, Matthew 27:57. Okay, Matthew 27:57. Ilan ang nandun? Matthew 27:57. Very good kayo. Bumibilis kayo magbukas ng Bible, 27:57.
1. Joseph.
1, right?
Elders of the
Okay. What does it mean? Si Jesus kasi, he's also an audience of one. You remember Nicodemus?
Yes.
You remember the woman at the well? Diba? It doesn't matter whether it's 12, whether it's 70, whether it's 5,000, or whether it's 1. Ano importante? You're making a disciple. You're doing it. Okay? And that's who Jesus is. And sana ganun din na gawin natin, no? Parang every person is important para sa atin to be a disciple of Jesus. Kaya huwag kayong masyadong with the numbers, ano? Although, it will come. Basta consistent lang tayo in making disciples. So, next natin. Okay. How did Moses, Deuteronomy 11:9, how did Moses suggest that we teach God's principles? Deuteronomy 11:9.
Deuteronomy 11 verse 9, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord swore to you to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey.
11:9 yun? Okay, so ano doon? How do we teach God's principles according to that?
Giving by milk and honey.
11:9 talaga.
11:9. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 11:9. So that you may learn in the land which the Lord swore to your ancestors to give them.
Swear to your fathers to give to them and to their offspring, a land flowing with milk and honey.
Okay. Ano to 19. 11, 11:19. Kulang ng 1. Okay, again. Read.
And ye shall teach them your children, talking of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Yan. So kanina, we have the motivation, we want to disciple, pero how? How do we disciple? And this is the way. Okay? Let's do it one by one, read it one by one. Ano? You shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when you sit in your house, ano pa, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. What does it mean? Araw-araw sa lahat ng gagawin mo. Amazing. Honestly, hindi dapat lang ang pastor ang nagde-disciple. Tama ba? Dapat lahat tayo ay nagde-disciple para kay Jesus. Kahit anong trabaho natin, ano? Kahit saan pa tayo, posible at dapat. For example, sa mga may family, ano? Ako, for example, I have 3 kids. Yun yung first goal ko, na yung 3 kong anak maging disipulo ni Jesus, right? So, pagising pa lang ng umaga, bago matulog, habang naglalaro, lahat, you will always speak about Jesus. You will always teach about Jesus. Kaya ba natin yun? Pwede ba yun? Yan. So, ganun ang gagawin natin. In the future, I would like to make a paper sa aking doctoral degree, ano, ng workplace evangelism. Kasi I'm focused on urban. And nakakatuwa kasi nasa Manila kayo, right? And bakit pumupunta sa Manila ang karamihan ng mga tao? For work. For trabaho. Diba? And then, there must be a way na habang nag-work ka, nag-evangelize ka. Diba? Habang nag-work ka, nagde-disciple ka para kay Jesus. So, those are one of my dream na ma-research and magkaroon tayo ng maraming paraan and strategies on how we can evangelize in our work. And so now, moving forward, that is discipling. Now, let's go to discipline. Okay? So, yung kanina, we talk about discipling. We're done with that. We're good with that. Now, discipline. Kasama ng discipling ay yung sarili nating disiplina. Pag sinabi natin discipline, kailangan may effort. Ano? Kasi, usually, we're going against yung natural nating tendencies. For example, alam mo na kailangan nag-morning devotional ka. Kaya lang, ang sarap matulog, di ba? Parang puyat ka kasi, so natutulog ka ng mahaba hanggang sa pagising mo, sikat na yung araw, ang dami mo nang kailangan gawin, hindi ka na makapag-morning devotional. So anong kailangan mo? Discipline. Tama? Kailangan natin ng disiplina. So pag ganun, dapat pala, gabi pa lang, hinahanda mo na yung sarili mo. Minamotivate mo na yung sarili mo na the next morning, you'll spend time with God. So let me read some quotations from the writings of Ellen G. White. The object of discipline is the training of the child for self-government. He should be taught of self-reliance and self-control. Therefore, as soon as he is capable of understanding, his reason should be enlisted on the side of obedience. Yun din ang goal ng discipline, obedience kanino? Sa Panginoon, di ba? Ang bata nga, pag dinidisiplina, ibig sabihin dapat sumusunod sa magulang, tama? So, ganun din tayo, when we discipline ourselves, we must obey Jesus. So, when God says, thou shalt not, He in love warns us of the consequences of disobedience in order to save us from harm and loss. Sino sa inyo nakakasulo 10 commandments? Taas na kamay? Meron ba? 10 commandments? Wala. Parang may assignment sila. Master Guide Jeremy, no? Magsaulo ng 10 commandments. Okay. When I was baptized, ng grade 3 ako, 10 years old, ang alam ko lang is, of course, nag-fill up tayo ng baptismal questionnaire, Maraming bawal na nakasulat doon. So, yun yung alam ko, bawal ganto. Tapos, yung 10 commandments, sa ulo ko din yun, to the point na parang gusto ko isulat yung 10 commandments, ikabit ko dito, para hindi ko masuway, So, as young as I am, ang idea ko lang of being, a Christian, a disciple, is sundin yung 10 Commandments. Pero I realized it's so hard to fulfill and obey the whole commandments. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi we are trying it on our own effort. Sariling effort lang natin. And then I realized I should love God first. And then these commandments, I could easily follow. Tama? So when I was high school, doon ko na-realize na kaya pala nahihirapan ako kasi I don't have such kind of relationship with Jesus yet. So, beginning high school, doon ako nag-start magbasa ng Bible and na-realize ko, it should be Jesus in me, allowing me to really obey His commandments. At mas naging masaya, to obey Him, all the commandments because you love Him first. So, yun yung goal natin una. Why do we obey? Because mahal natin si Jesus. Why we are disciplining ourselves? Kasi mahal natin si Jesus. No? So that's our goal. Okay? I won't be reading the rest of this one. Siguro maybe they can send you the PowerPoint. But let me give you our goals sa ating mga spiritual disciplines. Ang ating mga spiritual disciplines, by the way, is number 1. You can write it down. Prayer, fasting, and intercession. Kailangan natin ng prayer, ng fasting, and intercession. When I learned about fasting, I think I was 4th year or college, and ginamit ko siya while I was doing church planting. And na-amaze ako kasi kapag nagpa-fasting tayo, we are becoming dependent on Jesus. And makikita mo yung miracles talaga ng Panginoon when you're doing fasting. Kasi kahit na hindi pa your own effort, everything is being accomplished. Amazing. One time, we're supposed to do branch Sabbath school, pero sabi ng church, wala kaming budget para dyan. And to the point na nung time na mag-start na yung branch Sabbath school, meron akong appointment, so I was not there to the mother church na mag-a-assist sa church planting. You know what happened? That Sabbath afternoon, kahit sabi nila sa church board walang budget, lahat sila lumabas and went out for branch Sabbath school. Imagine mga 7 vehicles yon, and then mga ganong groups din, mga 7 groups ganyan, tapos they pay their own gasoline, snacks, everything, hanggang sa after ilang weeks nakagraduate yung 200 na students for branch Sabbath school. The church was saying no money, right? And ang ginawa ko lang, manalangin talaga every Sabbath, fasting and prayer. And it works. It's one of the discipline, spiritual practices as disciples of Jesus. Number 2, study and meditation plus journaling. Okay, Bible study and meditation plus journaling. Bakit study of the Bible? Kasi kung walang study of the Bible, saan ka magiging founded, no? Wala kang sword for the battle, for the spiritual battle. So we need to study the Bible, meditation plus journaling. Bakit journaling? Because the more we write, the more we retain it in our minds and our hearts. Importante yun. Next is spiritual practice, fellowship. Importante that you have people around you that you can talk about spiritual things, and you could gather for worship. That's fellowship. Spiritual practices. And number 4, giving. Another spiritual practice, giving. Okay, importante na, sabi nga, you know that you give if it hurts. Nagbibigay ka talaga kapag medyo nasasaktan na yung bulsa mo. Tama ba? Alam ko, gumastos din kayo coming here, And that's giving, no? That's even giving. Next, serving. Number 5, serving. Serving. Yan. Minsan, I'm searching for happiness. Lord, ano ba talagang way para maging masaya? And I found it in the writings of Ellen G. White. True joy is found in unselfish service. Naghanap ako kung saan. Nandun lang pala. So, serving. And then number 6, last but not the least, thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. During the pandemic na hindi tayo lumalabas, one thing that would enable us to survive is give thanks. Give thanks. At sabi sa 1 Thessalonians or 2 Thessalonians, give thanks in all circumstances. Grabe, no? Lahat ng pagkakataon, give thanks. That's our spiritual practice. Now, anong goal ng mga spiritual practices natin? Okay. From Romans 6:10 to 23, you can write it down, Romans 6:10 to 23. Before we are servants of sin. Right? Nasa Romans 3:23, Romans 6:10 to 23, yung loss, instrument of unrighteousness, disobedience, dead to sin, and cleanliness, iniquity, lahat ng yun. And the goal is to be servant of righteousness. Okay? Bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng mga spiritual disciplines? So that we will be servant of righteousness. Ganun din yung mga i-disciple natin. From being servant of sins, we want them to be servant of righteousness. And then what else? Ephesians 4:24 to 33. For us to be transformed from old life to new life. Putting away old man and put on new man. Ephesians 4:24 to 33. Okay? Ephesians 4:24 to 33. Those are our discipling goals. Transformation. Pagbabago, One time, merong isang visitor, at hindi siya naniniwala sa Panginoon. May isang visitor sa isang island. Yung island na yun ay tinatawag na Cannibal Island. Ano yung cannibal? Kumakain ng tao, no? yung atheist na yun, pagdating niya sa island na yun, nakita siya ng isang tao na nagbabasa ng Bible. Sabi niya sa nagbabasa ng Bible, tigilan mo pagbabasa niyan, hindi yun totoo. And then sabi ng tao na yun, kung hindi dahil dito, baka wala ka na ngayon. Baka kinain na kita ngayon, So, the Bible can really transform our lives, Marami ng tested and proven that many were transformed through His words. So, it can put away the old man and put on the new man. Ephesians 4:24 to 33. So, ang step-by-step process ng ating discipling is Holy Spirit, and then our spirituality, then spiritual life, then spiritual ministry, then spiritual character. Ang pinakadulo, ay ang character natin. Kasi at the end, pagdating natin sa langit, ano lang matitira sa atin? Our character. Bakit makikilala mo, uy, siya pa rin yun, uy, si ano yun? Kasi yun pa rin yung character niya. So ngayon pa lamang, yung character natin ay ihuna natin into a heaven-like, Christ-like character, no? Yun yung goal natin. And so, dahil we need to be changed, pero hindi natin kayang change yung sarili natin, anong gagawin natin? Cooperate with the working of the Holy Spirit. Okay? In us. Cooperate with the working of the Holy Spirit. And next, choose to stay in places and circumstances where the Holy Spirit can transform us. And yun yung spiritual disciplines. Ang spiritual disciplines ay yung circumstances at lugar na kung saan the Holy Spirit can transform us. Okay? That is the end of all about discipling and discipline. So ang goal natin is to have Christ-like character. Tama? And to make more disciples na kagaya din naman ni Kristo. So I hope and pray that yun yung magiging goal natin as we do this training. Tama? Later on, mag-basic water safety and doing all the camp cookery and all. And habang ginagawa mo yun, please mind it that your character is being trained, ano? And being nourished. Sabi nga, ang will ng Panginoon, if you would search the whole Bible, God's will is for you to be holy. God's will is for you to be holy. So whenever you make decisions, kahit maliit na decision pa yan, see to it that it would lead you to holiness. And that would make your character Christ-like, right? Because Jesus is holy, right? So pagpatuloy lang natin and keep that in mind. And later on, marami pa tayong gagawin, but make sure that our character is one with Christ. God bless us.
Amen.